Welcome to The Catalyst, an exciting and insightful podcast produced by Northeast Iowa Community College. I'm your host, Amy Lasack. Together, we'll explore the people, programs, and partnerships that make Northeast Iowa Community College unique. From student success stories to behind-the-scenes info about athletics, innovation, and industry collaboration, each episode dives deeper into your community's college. Get ready for an inside look at the impact of community-driven education at NICC. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Catalyst. We're joined today by Jason White, the new president CEO of Greater Dubuque Development Corporation, as we talk about economic development. And so economic development is one of the most powerful forces that are shaping the future of a region. From the employers who choose to invest here to the workforce pipeline to help businesses grow. And in the Dubuque area, that work has long been led by the Greater Dubuque Development Corporation, GDDC. And so today I'm excited to welcome Jason White. He was newly named CEO of GDDC back in January. And while he's new to this role, he's certainly not new to the mission of GDDC and economic development as a whole. He brings more than 2 decades of economic development leadership and experience across Iowa and Wisconsin. He graduated from Loras and holds a master's degree from the University of Iowa in urban and regional planning. We're going to talk to him about his vision for the future, how economic development landscape continues to evolve, and why partnerships with entities like NICC are more important now than ever. So welcome, Jason.
Thanks, Amy. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah. So first we want to get to know Jason, the person. Tell us a little bit about who you are, your family, and how you kind of came full circle. You went to college here in Dubuque, and now you're leading GDDC.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, as of January 12th, I assumed the role of President and CEO of the Greater Dubuque Development Corporation after a long period of economic development service in a variety of different communities. First off, I grew up in Dubuque County, so it definitely was exciting to come back to Dubuque County in 2021 when my family and I had the opportunity to move from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, where I was blessed to be the founding president and CEO of the Greater Oshkosh Economic Development Corporation from 2015 to 2021, and developed some good contacts and networks, met some great people while I was performing that service and founding a new economic development organization there. But yeah, and I've had a long journey. Prior to Oshkosh, I was in Central Iowa, West Central Iowa, Southern Iowa, and you read my background in education. So I think my wife and we both grew up in the kind of that Dyersville, Worthington area there, Highway 136 corridor in Western Dubuque County. So never thought we'd end up back home, though, because you just never know where these journeys might take you. So the opportunity to come back here with Rick saying that he was retiring after 30 years of a strong leadership and service to this organization, and now an opportunity for me to step in those shoes and carry that mantle of greatness, and while trying to take this organization and community to new heights with a great team and a great board, and obviously great partners as well.
Great. Well, for those that are listening that maybe aren't familiar with economic development organizations as a whole, can you give a high-level description on why they exist and what sort of impact they make?
Yeah, so an organization like Greater Dubuque Development operates as a public-private nonprofit corporation. So there's the city. A lot of times when you'll have a city, they'll have economic development staff, and certainly we do in the city of Dubuque. And local governments overall usually have somebody that does perform service of economic development, either the city administrator or the planning coordinator or whatnot. One of the benefits we provide in having those folks at the table, we also have businesses at the table, and we have nonprofits at the table, and we have education partners at the table. So, for an organization like us, where we have actually have a 46 member board, we have a lot of different stakeholders, so that when we convene business, everybody's at the table, right? So that's a real value that we bring. And when it comes to working or facilitating an economic development project, there's a lot of different partners that could be in and out of the conversation, from workforce to city services to incentives to land, buildings, and infrastructure. And we got to be prepared to react. And having all those folks involved and supportive of our organization and our mission performs a very strong purpose in the economic development ecosystem.
Absolutely. And so now that you've been kind of a couple different roles and back in Dubuque at GDDC and now leading GDDC, how would you say GDDC is a little bit different than any other economic development group?
There's a lot of different facets to our organization. So the core of our mission is, and always will be, to connect and take care of our business and industry, right? So I think from that standpoint, there's a lot of groups that will do that. I think one of the things that makes us unique in that regard is that we've had a 20 to 30-year track record of managing a very targeted discipline program called Info Action, where we meet with 250 business executives every year and ask them questions about their market, rating community services, better understanding their workforce, how they relate to partnerships in our community, and any strengths and weaknesses that we have that operates their ability to perform and grow in our community on a day-to-day basis. So I think that's unique from the standpoint of the way we do it.
Sure.
And the detail that we perform. But we also have a very active sister part of our organization, and that's workforce solutions. And so right up there next to our business services of taking care of existing businesses and bringing in new businesses, talent attraction, recruitment, and retention is right up there right next to it. So we have programs that we'll get into, I'm sure, that relate to skill development and newcomer service and making people feel welcome and a part of our community when they get here. But then we also have some strategic initiatives that we take on too to try to be nimble and address the needs of the community on an ongoing basis, whether it's childcare or housing or broadband. And so we tend to, anything that impacts our ability to grow as a community is something that we want to be on the forefront of.
Yeah, there are so many different components to economic development. You mentioned several of them there: transportation, childcare, workforce skills. I mean, there's so many different pieces of that. And Dubuque has a really interesting history when it comes to economic development over the last 30 years or so. Why are you excited to lead GDDC now?
Yeah, we definitely have a strong track record of success in the Greater Dubuque market and state of Iowa and the tri-state area as well. And if you look at Dubuque, our community really relies upon us as kind of that convener, that facilitator of partners around our community and our region. And so, we've brought a lot of leadership to the table in that way because we have a lot of expertise in our team, right? So,
Right.
as I mentioned, we have, Dan McDonald, who's been our director of existing business for over 20 years. So when he makes a phone call to a business as CEO, they take the call, they take the meeting. We have two people on our team that are focused on workforce and talent. And, one's a former HR manager, right? So she can sit down with a peer HR manager and have a very enlightened conversation about issues and troubleshooting and opportunities. And then we also have somebody in our team in Nick Hockenberry who comes from a lot of experience too and works with NICC and higher education and our governmental entities and better understands, what tools and resources that can come to bear when it comes to recruiting talent there too. So I think what makes us unique there is, we have a lot of the talent on our team, and we have a very strong supportive board that have given us the resources and delegated the authority for us to really be nimble and flexible and connected to our community in many different ways.
Sure. So Jason, as from your seat, why do you feel like it's vital to have a community college as a partner in workforce development work that you do?
Yeah, when it comes to working on an economic development projects, let's talk about business expansions right now, right? So there are a handful of people that you want on your team right away, right? You want people that can help you identify real estate. You want to have people that can identify talent and skills that are needed, right? And so automatically you're going to have the community college at the table, right? Because NICC specifically provides a lot of different programming for a lot of different types of skills. And chances are, regardless of who that employer is, you have a program to train that talent or upskill that talent, right? Or customize training for that to secure that talent, right? So so having the community college there when we're talking about talent, real estate, local government processes, um, all of that. I mean, it's just a core part of the team, right? Um, but just even the day-to-day work that we do, um, as you know, we meet every month between Greater Dubuque Development's team and NICC's team, and we present information to you about what our company's needs are
Mm-hmm.
for gaps that they're facing in talent recruiting or different skills that they're looking for, or how that's changed, right, from year to year or project to project or uh, time to time. So we bring that feedback back to NICC in kind of a constructive sense and say, hey, this company is needing 10 welders, or we met with this medical institution and they're short on nursing, or can we quickly uh, ramp up an opportunity Dubuque program to achieve certain metrics for this type of need or what have you in the local market. So I think just that ongoing relationship both with us and our employers in the community is vital to fill in that gap, and also being as responsive as we can be on a regular basis as well.
Yeah, I think that's one of the real benefits to us working so closely together for our employers is they can mention it to you and we know right away. So we can do the
Yeah.
follow up as necessary and they don't have to talk to 17 different people to get what they need. Um, and I would like to talk a little bit about Opportunity Dubuque because that's another program that we work very closely with GDDC on. And just as a little bit of background for our listeners, NICC works hand in hand with GDDC on this. We offer several short-term career pathway certificates for in-demand positions in the Dubuque area. And GDDC has been so supportive of the work that we do here by providing financial assistance for students to take these courses, but then also resources so that we can have staff that help support those students through that journey. Jason, from GDDC's perspective, why was that something you felt that would be important to work so closely with NICC on?
Yeah, and I really have to give my predecessor a lot of credit for that. Rick Dickinson was very passionate about this and went out a number of years ago to the county, Dubuque County Board of Supervisors, the city of Dubuque, and the DRA, another partner we're very fortunate to have here, to say, hey, you know, if we're going to get people fully employed, people have different circumstances in life that they face. Maybe out of high school, if they're ready to enroll
Mhm.
in a program, or maybe they're not. Maybe they need to go out in the workforce. Maybe they need to find themselves for a couple of years. Maybe they're just not sure what they want to do. So there are people that high schools have good programs to kind of help kids guide them on their way, but adults don't necessarily have that. So Opportunity Dubuque presents that great tool in our community that reaches out in our community through strong connectivity with other nonprofits, um, and other social circles that exist in our community to say, hey, we want to find that individual or that group of individuals that are interested in improving their lives or improving their economic position for themselves and their family uh, through short-term certificate training, through targeted training that in a very short amount of time whether it be 6 weeks, whether it be a couple months, whether it be up to 6 months. We can get you a skill and get you fully employed um, with dignity and rewarded work,
Mhm.
to be fully contributing for you and your family, and to have the confidence that you are accomplishing your own life goals, to be a strong contributor to yourself and your community. So this has been a strong partnership, one that we strongly believe in. Our board has been very supportive of, and NICC has followed through, not just with the programming, but with success coaches that are on the front line to find such individuals and help them become gainfully employed and skilled in our community.
Yeah, and it's made such an impact on hundreds of lives over the years, providing that training and the sustainable careers. And I know our employers really appreciate that pipeline as well. And we definitely couldn't do it without GDDC's help.
Yep.
Another program that we work together with is connecting newcomers to Dubuque. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, this is a set of programs I'm very excited about to talk about. So, if an employer is trying to introduce somebody to our community for the first time, right? We're very blessed to have tour guides that will take them around the community. So, we encourage our employers and those even with NICC, they're joining your team, to experience our community and get a windshield tour from one of our tremendous tour guides. These tour guides are all natives to the community, have all kind of been through, uh, the various different points of life in our community and experienced it in many different ways. I actually took a tour myself when I was interviewing for the job, and I learned some things about the community that I'm serving right now. So those tour guides do such a great job, and we do dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, tours every year to help employers get that best first impression for the people that they're trying to hire and attract to our community. We also have once they do arrive in our community, we do have a program called Distinctively Dubuque, for 5 weeks on Wednesday nights. We have 20 to 30 newcomers that arrived in the community over the last couple of years that learn about Dubuque, right? What is it like to be a Dubuquer? We also benefit from their first impressions. So the first couple nights, uh, we get their honest feedback about what they think about our community. And that feedback is helpful. We share that with the city council. We share that with our board, because it's not just us talking to them about how great our community is. We also want their feedback about how we can improve as well. Things that they've experienced, maybe from a community that they moved from. So this Distinctively Dubuque offers a great opportunity to have a two-way approach where individuals learn about what it's like to live in Dubuque, and we learn about that from them as well, about who they are and where they came from, and help them feel, a sense of community, because we believe that when people feel connected to their community, they feel like they belong to their community. They're more likely to want to get involved in their community and stay here as well.
Yeah, and I know as a graduate of Distinctly Dubuque a couple of years ago, it is such a wonderfully put together program, and you do learn so much in just 5 weeks about the community. I would encourage anybody listening out there, you're newer to Dubuque, and you don't have to be brand new. If you're just here, you've been here a couple of years and you haven't had a chance, right, Jason, that you can still get a chance to
Absolutely.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, we had folks this last class from, Arizona and uh, Colorado and Arkansas. I mean, we had people
Wow.
from all over the United States in this class. And, again, I think it- people are pretty energized by the end of the 5 weeks, and that's our goal.
Yeah, and it's a cohort model, so you get to know the people in your class really well
Yep.
after the end of the 5 weeks. So we've talked a lot about employers and the role they play in the workforce and economic development system. How has that role changed over the last couple of decades that you've been in economic development? Because there's been a bit of a shift.
I think there has been a shift. And I think as employers, a lot of them will tell us that they don't always have a people problem when it comes to number of applicants for positions that they need to fill. Uh, they say they have a skills gap, right? So I know we do an annual skills gap analysis to figure out what kind of skills do we need to recruit or develop uh, within our local labor force. Based in, and actually NICC has been a big part of that skills gap analysis as well. If you want to talk about partnership, but I think over time, I mean that certainly has been something that we've heard over and over is I can oftentimes find the people, but I need the skills.
Yeah.
And so, again, that goes back to some of the things we've talked about with Opportunity Dubuque and the value of having a community college with a lot of different programs and also evaluating the need for new programs. And so that certainly is something that we've seen more and more. We've also seen a lot more focus on employers understanding and taking more care of their employees and want to compete and take care of the people they have, and especially good people that they have. And so, being very attuned to employment barriers such as transportation and brain health, child care, some of the things that might impact their ability to not only take the job, but stay in their job once upon hire. So we've seen that as well. And I think just the continued changes with, technology, artificial intelligence, robotics, automation. I mean, those are all things that have entered the picture that in a bigger way that maybe weren't as big of a part of picture 10 years ago or so.
Sure. Well, I know you've been in this role for a whole 3 months. But as you look forward to the next 5 or 10 years, what are you most excited about, and what sort of priorities do you think GDDC is going to have?
We are a very dynamic community and county, and we're very blessed to live and work in this part of the world because we live in a community where people care about each other, right? Um, and employers care about their people. Educational institutions, care about their people and their students and their welfare. And I think, we're blessed to be a part of a community where neighbors care about people and take care of people. So I think just as far as the future goes, it's a very dynamic county. Uh, we have tremendous, tourism assets, I think, that bring people here to help us on the workforce side because people come here, they experience the Field of Dreams, they experience the River Museum, Art Museum, um, a lot of the other things that take place here, and they want to be a part of it. So I think for us, just to continue to capitalize on the people that come here and visit here and are connected here in some way. So, I've said to the city council the other night in our presentation is that we have a lot of wonderful, caring people here, but we need more of them. So we want to continue to grow our population. Uh, we hosted the Iowa Rural Development Council Summit last week, and a lot of people might think, well, Dubuque's not rural. Why were you hosting the Iowa Rural Development Council? Well, I think to a lot of the rest of the world, Dubuque is considered very rural. And while, we are the metro region for a kind of a 7, 8, 9 county area here that makes up about 250,000 population, um, around the rest of the world would consider us to be a very rural, agricultural based economy. So I think for us, it's recognizing that it's important for us to be aggressive, fight above our weight, compete to win projects, and to bring that mentality to the table. But also, the spirit of collaboration that goes along with it, like I talked about earlier, among public, private, and nonprofit partners, that we can come together, we can do business respectfully, and we can, all come to the same conclusion that continued growth, vitality of our people, of our businesses, both the population, business investment is something that we all want to attain for ourselves and for those who come behind us as well.
Yeah. Well, and you used the word blessed several times in that last segment. And I would, as we're wrapping up and we go into our last segment on the podcast, I would say we're very blessed to have you as a leader because you do care about Dubuque so much and you do want the best for the region. So thank you for the work that you're doing as well. So we have a fun little section of our podcast called Fact or Fiction, where I kind of read off a statement. You let us know if it's fact or fiction. Are you game?
Absolutely. Love it.
All right. What about you need a 4-year degree to get a job in this region? Is that fact or fiction?
I would say that's fiction. And we we're blessed because you can get a 2-year degree and you can get a 4-year degree and you can be employed right out of high school. So we have options, a lot of career options for everybody, regardless of what walk of life they are.
Great. What about Opportunity Dubuque only provides training for recent high school graduates? Is that fact or fiction?
That would also be fiction. As we talked
Yeah, in
about
fact,
before, there's a lot of upskilling that takes place with unemployed and underemployed individuals
yeah.
to get them back on their feet. So certainly.
What about economic development today is just as much about talent as it is about land and buildings?
I think that's true. So that's fact. You need both. If you don't have one, you can't really have the other.
How about local employers are important players in developing a talent pipeline in the region?
Very true. Fact.
Yeah, important for sure. The best economic development conversations sometimes happen over coffee instead of in a boardroom.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely fact.
Yeah, I think one of the things I've really noticed being in the Dubuque area is the relationships that everybody has in this area is so key to get any partnerships done and move forward with things. All right, last one. The CEO and president of GDDC has the best office in the city.
I would say we have the best partnerships in the city, and that includes Greater Dubuque Development. How about that for a diplomatic answer?
Love it. Love it. You did a great job there. Well, Jason, thank you so much for joining us on the Catalyst and sharing your vision on the future of the Dubuque region. We really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you.
So as Jason talked about, it's much more than just growth. Economic development is about the people, about the partnerships, and creating those pathways for communities and employers to thrive together. We're proud at NICC to be a part of the work that GDDC does every day, and we're excited about what the future holds through Jason's leadership of GDDC. If you do want to learn more about GDDC, you can check out their website at www.greaterdubuque.org. And thank you to everybody for tuning in to another episode of The Catalyst. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for joining us on this episode of The Catalyst. If you enjoyed the conversation, make sure to follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Want to learn more about NICC and the many ways we support our students, partners, and community? Visit nicc.edu for more resources and upcoming opportunities. This podcast is produced by Northeast Iowa Community College and hosted by me, Amy Lasack, with executive producer Tessa Hill, producer Travis Hunt, and graphic designer Ashley Conzen.